Hi, this is Amanda Carpenter with Grace and Grit podcast. This is the place where the stories are real, the healing is messy, and God is with us every step of the way. So last week was the first podcast. This is the second one. And just thank you so much for watching my first podcast. I know these are a little amateur-ish, but like I said, they'll get better. They'll get better as I go, and I learn the ropes and the routines, and I get used to speaking on the camera. I am not tech savvy, so I don't do editing. Everything is real and genuine, and it's not played up or polished, and I hope that that's okay, because that's what you're gonna get. So I just want to thank you for being here and sticking with me, and I hope that you continue to do that. You can like and subscribe my YouTube page, and I would appreciate that, because I would just appreciate some likes at all. So all right, let's get into what I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to talk about Bill's story, who Bill is in AA, and how Bill's story relates to mine. And then we'll see where we go from there, because Bill actually helped me realize that I wasn't alone, and that I wasn't the only one, yes. But that I wasn't dumb either, that I wasn't ignorant, I wasn't all the negative things that I was feeling. Bill helped me understand that about myself. So, Bill W., whose full name is Bill Wilson, is the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, and his story opens the big book. And and I really love my big book. So I bought a really special one that is leather bound, because my actual big book, I'll show you, it's right here. My actual big book is this huge thing, right? And I've got things marked out, but I've got Bill on the front. I still have my 7-month chip in there. So rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. I liked this saying because after going through a full year of this book and having a sponsor and doing all the right things and going from step 1 to step 12 in order and not leaving anything out, I really appreciate that saying, because it is very true. If you follow the steps and you don't cookie cutter things, and you don't try to leave something out and go with something else, or write it how you want to write it, if you just follow the steps how they're written and you do the things how it's said to do, it has worked for others and it will work for you. And I'm living proof of that, because it works. And I never thought that I was going to be somebody who would ever survive alcoholism. I thought I was going to die of it, and people were not going to know how bad it was for me until I was dead. So that is the truth. And I'm thankful every day that I wake up with air in my lungs and another day to experience on this earth, because it's a true gift that I didn't think was going to be for me, but it is, and I'm thankful. So, but Bill is the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, and he was intelligent, and he was ambitious, and he was strong-willed, and he was someone who truly believed he could control his drinking. Now, I related with that because I thought I could stop anytime. This is just something that I should be allowed to do. This is just something that everybody my age does it. Or I'm a mom, so I can have a drink. It shouldn't bother me. However, I couldn't just have one drink and walk away. I couldn't just have 2 drinks and walk away. I had to finish the bottle and then go to the store and buy more. And then finish whatever was in the house that was left, because we always had something. And I got to the point where I was planning the things I would do in my life, whether it be outings, birthday parties, church on Sundays, work, any of those things. I got to the point where I was planning, okay, when am I going to be able to take a drink? Okay, when am I going to be able to go to the store? I mean, it was controlling every aspect of my life. I was literally a slave to my addiction, and it was not fun. And so, and I'm not a dumb person either. I'm not unintelligent. I'm actually extremely intelligent, but you wouldn't have known that when I was drinking, because I couldn't even hardly hold a conversation by the time I went into rehab. I couldn't remember things very well. I was getting to the point where I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so old, and that just wasn't really me at all. It was changing every aspect of me. But alcohol for Bill started as something that gave him confidence and relief and a sense of ease. And I can relate to that too, because if I was nervous, I made the excuse to have a drink, and it would make me a people person. If I was sad or angry or happy, any excuse I could find, if I was, then I needed that drink. If I was, I just need you to go get me alcohol so I can start drinking and feel better, right? I'm in pain, so I need to drink alcohol. Any excuse under the sun, whether it was happy or sad, positive or negative, that was my excuse. And I could find a million of them. And then I could probably convince you as to why you shouldn't have an opinion about it, and that I'm just doing what everybody else does. Yeah, so fun times. But over time for Bill, it turned into something he couldn't control. And for me, it turned into something that I couldn't control. I had to have it. My body had to have it. I was getting to the point where I was sleeping with it under my bed, because I would wake up at night with shakes that are called DTs. And you literally, you just shake and you can't stop shaking. And I would wake up with a headache, and I would take 1 shot of vodka straight, and I'd be fine, and I'd go back to sleep. But I would wake up because my body needed alcohol, and I was sleeping. So I started sleeping with it where it was reachable under my bed, because I was still tired, but my body was telling me, hey, get up, I need something. So fulfill that, and I'll let you do what you need to do. I became a slave, like I said. But Bill lost stability in everything. I lost stability in everything. I lost stability in my mind. I felt as if I was literally going crazy. And that was for years. I would have arguments with people, with my loved ones. And Joe, my husband, probably got the butt end of everything. And I've told him sorry millions of times, but there is no sorry on this planet that I could ever say to him that truly expresses how sorry I am that he went through those times with me for so long. But I was so unstable. My emotions were unstable. My thoughts were unstable. My thoughts were unstable, but they were also realistic to me. So I might have thought a certain way and been completely out of left field about it, but I would argue it till I was blue in the face because I was right. And you just have to be wrong because this makes sense to me in my brain. Let me tell you, after I got sober, I realized some of these arguments that I have had and some of these relationships that I knew were broken when I was gone, and they were still broken and I might need to repair those. How wrong I was. I mean, I was absolutely a nut job sometimes. I'm just thankful for people who love me and hung in there with me. And the people who supported me afterwards, oh my goodness, I never thought how much support I would get. I was trying to move to Florida and never show my face back here again because I was sure everybody just thought I was a ridiculous mess. But they did. They supported me. And I'm so thankful for those people who continue to walk alongside me to this day. It is a true blessing, one I don't deserve. And I just thank God for the people he's placed in my life. But back to the story, Bill tried to quit. He tried to quit several times. And he failed every single time. And he reached a point where he was completely desperate. And I relate to that very, very well. I tried to quit 2 times by myself in secret. 2 times that I was trying not to tell anybody. The only people that did know was Joe, because he knew that I had tried to start going to meetings. I didn't even know what AA was in the beginning, and I started going over to Coldwater to the Monroe Street meetings, and that place, if you need a meeting, they are actually wonderful. I love the people who walk in there. They have some fantastic people who really want to see you get clean, and they care about you. So that's a great place to go if you're local to where I am and you need to go somewhere. That place was really helpful for me. And they're used to seeing people come in and out, and not being regulars. So, I mean, they'll have questions for you, so don't think that they won't. Any room is going to ask you around here probably because they're going to be smaller. But, I mean, they're just going to wonder who you are. But it's all in good sense. They want to help you. They just want to get to know you. So, allow people to get close to you. It's okay. It's okay. So, anyhow, I tried several times to get sober. And I remember after my 3rd meeting, I started going to the liquor store that's on the way home from Coldwater. Some of you know it. It's on US 12 across from the Shell gas station there as you leave town going back towards Sturgis. I would stop in there and grab a fifth of some kind of alcohol. It was probably some whiskey. Fireball was a really, really good one, but when I got to the point where I didn't want anybody to smell it, I would grab some cinnamon gum. And so I thought that it hit it. And actually, it really did. So Joe didn't know for a long time until he saw it under my seat, I think, because I had some empty bottles under my seat of my car. And he's like, really? What is going on? But I would have a fifth of Fireball and a pack of 4 beers that were at least 8 to 9% alcohol. Anything less than that, I didn't want it. And then that is, if you drink that, that's the dark beer. And it's not my favorite. I literally had to choke it down, but I knew that if I came home smelling like beer, I don't know. I thought that it might be normal or something, so I don't know. For some reason that made sense to me. So that's what I did, and I would be so drunk by the time I pulled in the driveway. And I remember telling Joe one time, because then I started drinking at home too, like bringing it home and acting like that was my first one that I just popped open after I walked through the door when I had finished like a ton of it on the way home. And some of the things I did, seriously. But I got to the point where I was drinking here at home, and I told Joe that I told him it's okay to have one. They know, like, my AA group knows that I'm trying, and so it's not called a relapse if I just have a couple. So I'm fine. He did not believe that, but he did not argue with me either, because I think he knew it was a lost cause at the time. I think he knew we were out of control, but he didn't really know what to do about it. And so it's just kind of one of those things. He's like, okay, whatever, Amanda. Like, you do you. And yeah, so that was interesting. But, you know, I did try. I did it on my own. I didn't do it the right way, and I failed. And for me, I didn't realize at the time how desperately I needed to be removed from everything, because I wasn't trying to do that, right? I wasn't trying to tell a bunch of people. I wasn't trying to leave my life. I wasn't trying to leave my kids. I mean, how would I do that? But so I ended up trying to do it in secret, and I failed every time. But the thing about me is I was an at-home drunk. So a lot of times, yes, I would drink on the way home, but I wouldn't be extremely drunk until after I got home. So I would, which is not an excuse at all, and I'm not giving myself one to drink and drive. Please hear what I'm saying. I just, in my mind, I thought that I was okay because I wasn't seeing double, you know, by the time I got home. I was still able to drive and see straight. It is the dumbest thing to drive and drink, so please do not hear my words that I'm saying that it's okay or that a little bit is okay. A none a bit is okay, okay? Understand. But what happened with Bill is that he had a spiritual awakening, and his spiritual awakening was that he was powerless to alcohol and that he couldn't do soberness on his own. He couldn't get himself sober. He needed help. And who did he need help from? The Father above. And that's why I absolutely love AA. The traditional AA, the very first book of AA was written just as the Bible would be written, because it was written in the sense to tell you that you need a higher power, and your higher power is God. I need God. Not a chair, not a doorknob, not a desk because it can hold you up. You need God. And until you surrender everything there is to surrender, and all your deep, dark secrets that you're hiding, you won't find freedom with God, because ultimately He wants you to be free. And the only way to be free is to clear yourself of all of those things. And no matter how painful it is, to speak those things out loud and to realize holy cow, I am this person. I have done these things. Until you can say that to someone else and have reality sit in your brain, you cannot rid yourself of this addiction and this problem, because this is spiritual and this is soul entering, and you've got to clear your soul and you've got to get right with God. And then God steps in and he helps you with your burdens, and he helps you with your pain, and he helps you carry this so that you're not alone, because you're not alone. You've never been alone. And if you are watching my podcast right now and you are struggling, that is God talking to you through me. So I hope that you will listen to that prompting and reach out, or go to a meeting, or call Boca Recovery. They'll take you. I know they will. They're amazing. Not the one in Bloomington? I think it's Bloomington, Indiana. I'm not a fan of that one. But the one in New Jersey that they just opened is amazing. And the one in Pompano, Florida, I'm sorry, but those people will always have a special place in my heart, and I just appreciate that place so much. And I know that I wasn't their favorite person, but I wasn't alone. So I fit right in, my attitude and all. And they helped me, and they walked me through my fear and my tears and my pain, and it was a really freeing time. And it's what got me ready for Reprieve, which was my IOP. And that's where I got into the big book, was at Reprieve. But you can't do Reprieve until you've had detox and residency. So just know that. You're going to have to do a detox and residence level first, and then you can go into a place where you can live with a group of people, a group of women or a group of men if you're male. You don't get to live with each other. If you're male and female, they do split you up, and that's very important. And at Reprieve, we weren't even allowed to look at each other hardly, so if we got caught doing that, we were in trouble. We couldn't make googly eyes. We couldn't stand around talking to each other. There'd be a big problem, and we'd have some consequences for that. So if you find a good place that is really strict on that, then you're doing well. And it's annoying, and it's hard to deal with, but it's worth it. And it's where I got a lot of my freedom. With my self-worth, I got a lot of freedom at this place. So, Dr. Silkworth was who Bill was reporting back and forth to, and Dr. Silkworth ultimately told Bill, "You are going to die if you do not enter an institution." And so he did, and he did that on December 11th, 1934. 1934. That's how long AA has been a thing, has been in the works and then created. And it has worked since 1934. Or after that, whenever they wrote this book. But he had DTs, he had all these things, he was failing, and he had a spiritual awakening while in the institution, which that's also where mine was. I guess I had I guess I had two. So I'll tell you my story real quick of how I got to leave. This may be alarming to some. So it was the night of one of the Michigan games in 2023 when we were doing amazing before we got caught, whatever, scouting out, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, Michigan was doing amazing. We were watching the game. I was sitting on the couch, getting drunk, enjoying life, right? I remember getting into the hot tub after the game was over, which I drank for the whole duration of the game, and I had a very large bottle of the one with the handle, the jug, the gallon jug of vodka, and I finished that night, the whole thing. And I also had Fireball, a fifth of Fireball, while we were out in the hot tub. And I know I had some Coronas, I think, because Corona was like one of my favorite beers in the summertime. So I got in the hot tub. I remember getting in the hot tub. I remember having an argument, and I remember getting mad and trying to storm out of the hot tub. And I don't remember anything after that. I fell off of our stairs, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 stairs up to the hot tub, and it's probably like, 3 or 4 feet tall, because the stairs go up and then into the hot tub. I fell from the very top to the concrete at the bottom stair. And I don't remember a thing. Joe said that he was afraid to look over the hot tub because I didn't get back up right away. I laid there for a while, and he said it really scared him, and so he kind of went over and peeked over the hot tub, and I was unconscious laying there. He got out of the hot tub, and I guess he picked me up, and he should have taken me to the hospital, but he did not. He ended up drying off and carrying me upstairs, because I guess I was still I wasn't blacked out still at that time when he picked me up then and carried me in, but I was drunk in and out, So he thought I was, he thought I was going to be okay. And he decided to take me to bed. And when I woke up the next morning, I slept really well. But when I woke up the next morning, I swear to you, the pain started in my head, and I felt it cover my whole body. I've never felt anything like this before in my life, all the way down to my feet. And then all of a sudden, it hit my feet, and my brain was in such agony because it was such pain I was in, just all over my body. I got up out of bed, and I was just kind of weirded out about that. I didn't know what happened, so I didn't know why I was feeling like this. I went to the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, and my face was all bloody. I had blood all over that's when I noticed I had blood all over my clothes. I looked down. I mean, I was a mess. I had I guess it was this shoulder. I had road rash on my shoulder, and my shoulder hurt really bad. I actually later found out that I tore my brachial plexus nerve just a tiny bit, and it still affects me and hurts to this day, because that's something that doesn't repair itself. And I broke my cheekbone right here, and I had to my face just hurt so bad. So I don't even know where it came from, but in that moment I was so stunned looking at myself. I walked down my steps, and I'm still drunk. I am still very, very, very drunk. I walk down my steps, and I look at my phone, and I type in, "I need help with alcohol," and Boca Recovery's 1-800 number came up, and I hit that, and I dialed. Somebody picked up the phone and said, "Hello, this is Boca Recovery. How can I help you?" And I just started bawling, and I said, "I think I need help." But it wasn't even that clear. It was like a drunken slur that I need help. And so they started getting the ball rolling. I mean, they knew everything to ask. They were very good at what they did. They were asking me all kinds of questions that I really don't remember right now. I do remember passing the phone off to Joe because they started asking me like medical insurance questions, and I was still so drunk that I got to the point where I was like, here, just talk to him. I'm going, just talk to him. And so he was like, he came down the stairs and he's like, what are you doing? And I said, these people need to talk to you. I need to go to, I need help, and I need to go to rehab, and I don't know what that looks like, but just talk to these people. So he gets on the phone and he's like, hello? And they're talking to him and telling him, yes, your wife, she needs help, and we can help her, and here's what we do, and here's how we do it. And it all sounded good to him because he knew I needed help, and he wanted me to get help. And so we were in agreement, and I was going to leave. They were actually trying to get me to leave at 10 o'clock that morning, I believe. And I said, no, I need to wait till my kids get home from school because I need to say goodbye to them. And they were telling me, no, we really don't want you to wait because the 9 out of 10 people decide not to come. And I said, listen, lady, I'm coming. I've made up my mind, and I'm coming. But I'm going to say goodbye to my kids. I'm a mom. And she said, okay, we'll do this. You can say goodbye to your kids, and then tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, your husband can drive you to Bloomington and drop you off. And I said, okay, that will work. So they called me every single hour to make sure that I was still going, that I was still in the headspace of that I need help. And they called me every hour to check. And sometimes I would just be like, yes, I'm going, click. It got so annoying. But they were so kind, and they stayed kind, and I was not very kind. I was like, I knew I was going. However, I didn't know what to expect. I was getting scared. I was getting very nervous, and I was getting scared. And I don't know what it was, but I didn't think about the future. I had made my mind up that I need help, and if I don't get help, I'm going to die, because I pretty much almost did after Joe actually told me the story, and I was just completely stunned of what happened. And I don't remember a thing. And I was thinking to myself, I do not want to be one of those people that has a car accident, and it's a very ugly thing, and I don't want to die. And also, the night before this drinking episode in the fall, I had a dream that God, and this is why I say I had two, because I had a dream from God that was very, very real. And you can think that I'm a wackadoo, I don't care. But this is the truth. I had a dream that was very, very real. And God showed me, it was one of those dreams where, kind of like the Christmas Carol, the Christmas story, where the angel comes in and he shows him his life, and he's standing there, and he's seeing how his life gets to play out in the future, and he doesn't like it. That is kind of how this dream was. I saw myself wrap my car around a tree, and God said, you don't have to choose this child. Choose me. And that's all he said. And I remember him, we met eye to eye, and I'm looking at him as I'm looking at myself dying, pinned between the car and the tree. And I'm dying because I was thrown out of the window and into the middle of this area where I was pinned. And God says, choose me. And I remember just bawling, and I woke up with tears on my pillow, tears dried on my face. I know it was real because I was truly crying. I was crying in my dream, and I had cried at some point before I woke up because the tears were there. Some were wet and some were dry. So that's all I remember of the story. I don't know how long it actually lasted, but God did visit me, and I do feel like that was a spiritual awakening, because I remember also laying there that night as I was drunk and praying to God that he would give me some kind of person that would help me and stop me in my tracks and help me figure out how to get clean. And I laid there and I cried and I cried. And I just bawled like a baby, actually. Joe, I was the only one in bed that night because Joe, I remember, he stayed up, and I was just pleading with God, please help me, help me. I need help and I can't help myself. And then the next day was the game and the fall. And then the next morning after that, I woke up and I called Boca Recovery. There were some couple things in there, like the week prior, that were little that also led me. They were like a domino effect, but it was all leading back to Jesus, and it was all leading to the fact that I wasn't alone, and that I wasn't going to be alone, but yet I needed help, and here's how it's going to happen. And ultimately, on November 28th, 2023, I went to Boca Recovery, and I went in extremely drunk. I made Joe stop at a liquor store on the way because it's like a 3 or 4 hour drive, I believe. Could be more. I don't remember. I know it was quite a ways. And I wasn't going to just sit there and be sober and go into rehab. Like, that's ridiculous. I wanted my last shot, right? So, Buffalo Trace is what I picked. And I was plastered by the time we got there. Yeah. It was not pretty. I couldn't even sign my name. I couldn't answer the questions. Joe sat through the initial session with me to get me in there. He signed everything for me as I'm sitting there, telling him yes, yes, yes. But I couldn't sign my name. I couldn't even hardly see. I was drunk. Yeah, pretty sad, pretty pitiful. But I had lost stability. I was unstable mentally, physically, emotionally. I was not capable of doing life anymore. I was not capable of even taking care of myself. I wasn't capable of many, many things. My job was being affected. Everything was being affected. Everything was falling, crumbling in front of my eyes. My marriage was terrible. My kids hated me. They were so embarrassed by me. Their friends would come over and I would be this sloppy, drunk, fun mom, right? No. So embarrassing. I would say the most outlandish things, and they would all laugh, but I think they would laugh and they were sorry for Bailey for the most part. But in my brain, I was the life of the party. And some of them did think that because they were used to that in their own homes. So I wasn't all bad or negative, but it wasn't the right way to be. It wasn't the right way to be a mom, and it wasn't the right way to be a role model for these kids that were coming in and out of my home. And I would speak of Jesus, yet I'm the one drinking and being ridiculous in the next 5 minutes of life. So it just didn't make any sense. And so I went through the steps that I did. Like I said last time, I did 4 steps, and it took me a process of 6 months to get back home and God to say you're ready to intervene, to integrate your life again. So I did that, but when I came home, I did all the things. And I still do. I make the gratitude list. I don't have like perfect days. And so on those unperfect days, I really, I've gotten in the habit of, because there's 10. You're supposed to do 5 to 10. And I do 10. On days that I am sick of life and I'm sick of people in my life and I'm just mad at the world, I make 20. I make 20 things in life that I am thankful for. And it always starts with the air in my lungs. Because that is such a gift. We take it for granted because we do it naturally and it's just something that happens. But we don't realize how special that process of breathing and being alive and being healthy and our hearts beating, how special that truly is, and how amazing God has built our bodies, and how amazing He's built our bodies to restore itself even after we quit drinking, or we quit smoking, or we quit drugging. Our bodies start repairing right away. And I think that is a beautiful process. So yeah. I came home and I kept doing all the things. And the biggest thing that I did, and that Bill also did, is that he found that if he helped another person, it helped him stay sober. Let me say that again. He found that if he helped someone else who was struggling, it helped him stay sober. And I work every day, and I pray for God to put people in my path that I can minister to, help with my story, just help in some way, whether it's a smile, whether it place me in somebody's path that I can help. Let me walk along somebody else who is struggling so I can tell them about my story, and I can maybe help them figure out that they need help, and then they can get their own ball rolling. We can't fix people, but we can walk alongside them and support them. And that's very important in Alcoholics Anonymous, and basically that's what the end of the steps are. You get through all your steps, the 12 steps, and you are finally at the point where you're now helping other people do their steps, go through their steps, do their 4, which is really hard. Step 4 seems like it's really hard. It actually scares the crap out of most people, but it's not hard. It's actually not hard. The only thing that's scary is that yourself comes to reality. And it's hard to look at ourselves and be honest. And that's the scary part. That's the worst part. Looking at yourself and being honest about how you are the problem in this scenario, or how you held a grudge, or how you chose addiction to handle emotionally what you should have gotten help with, right? Because some things are not our fault, and we do not claim responsibility for those. That's not what I'm saying. But we do have some responsibility in each scenario in our lives. So if it's something like, let's just say, I can't say that on YouTube, so let's just say the word that starts with R, because I think they'll take me down, and I'm so new, I don't want to be taken down. But let's just say that word. If you are that has happened to you, just know that that is not something, you do not have to take responsibility for that, because that nobody should ever take control of your body without consent to do so. Not at all. That's not your fault. Dressing some type of way is not your fault. Being in some place is not your fault. However, did you lie to be in that place? The lying is your fault. The dishonesty to be in that place is your fault. Choices, we all make choices, right? If I chose to dress inappropriately, I may have to then figure out, was I trying to get attention? What was my real reason why I truly wanted to dress like that. Is it my self-worth? Do I need to work on who I am with Jesus? Do I need my identity? Just things like that. So that part I would totally claim for myself, and I did in my situation. So I claimed that. But the situation at hand was not my fault. What he chose to do was not my fault. Could I have made some better choices? Yes. Could I have been could I have been where I was actually supposed to be that I lied to my mom about? Yes, I could have. And I should have been. So those things are. And then the way I decided to handle it in the end, I decided to be a victim of that. And I decided to let it ruin my life when I needed to claim victory over that. And I needed to rise above that and realize that he did not win. He will never win. And I am okay. And this is just me. So please hear me with all the love in your heart. That this is my story. This is the way I felt. And it's not like I don't struggle. Sometimes I struggle. Sometimes there's things that activate my memory and I'm like, oh man, okay, I'm struggling, I need a minute. And I take the time for myself to get right emotionally and, my thoughts and my brain and everything right spiritually. I have to check my spirit sometimes. I have to check my identity sometimes. Just because I've claimed identity in Jesus doesn't mean that it's always there in my brain, because my brain is my worst enemy, right? And so sometimes I have to reclaim that over and over and over, and I have to check in with Jesus and say, do you really feel this way about me? Because I'm not feeling so secure right now. I'm a very insecure person, and I'm okay with saying that because we all have our crutches and we're all working on things. One of mine is insecurities of my self-worth. I don't feel like I'm good enough for anything. And so even sometimes with God, I know who I am. I know how he loves me. And yet I still question him all the time. And I think that's okay because I don't stay stuck there. And I just need those moments to get my brain back in alignment with God and say, oh, yeah, okay, I remember what you've said. I remember your scripture, and my brain is just trying to take me down right now. I remember. And that's why every morning I ask God, please take every thought and hold it captive. Because I don't want anything passing my brain waves that are of the devil, right? I don't want to ever allow him to take over my mind. Because once in my life, he had complete control. Satan had complete control. And that is no more. I am healed of that. However, we all have the little downslide that we get ourselves into, and that's just being a human, I think. It's when we stay there that we need to question, okay, what do I need to do now because I'm a little stuck? So when we get stuck, those are red flag signs that we need to press in and read and figure it out with God, because somehow we have separated ourselves. And so we just need to pull ourselves back, because God never separates from us, but we can separate ourselves. We can definitely separate ourselves from God. So, I don't know if this has helped any of you, and I don't know if you feel like I'm just rambling on, but I guess you're getting little pieces of my story here and there, and I hope that's okay with you. I just wanted you to know that Bill is like anybody else, and you can take the big book and you can go to an AA meeting. I do want to say this. You can go to an AA meeting and read the big book, and it doesn't just pertain to alcohol. It also pertains to drugs, and it even says that in here. So you can take where it says alcohol and replace it with whatever your issue is. It could be a food addiction. I think the steps in AA could help anyone. And you don't even have to be an addict. But if we all lived the 12 steps, do you know how amazing this world would be? I mean, just read them and go through them. And then once you do them, you'll see what I mean. Because I think everybody could benefit from doing the 12 steps. I mean, pick anything. I'm addicted to looking at my phone too much, you know? Anything. Yeah, there's lots of addictions. So you can replace it with anything. But yes, I don't know if I can show you this without everything falling out of it, but I will show you. This is my big book, and I have marked it up because there are some things in here that are just things I don't want to ever. I've even got it pinned because I just don't want to ever lose these spots. I will tell you that when I got the most healing in my life is when I stopped being very anxious. And I stopped being very anxious when I stopped thinking that I could control my whole atmosphere and things around me. We have a saying in the rehab that I went to, and it's, I can control everything inside of my bubble, and my bubble is just a little bit bigger than I am, and everything outside of that bubble I cannot control. So I need to stop and allow and be okay with things not always going my way, or acceptance. It's acceptance. So I think as soon as I can accept what I can't control, acceptance is the answer to all things and all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at this very moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in God's world by mistake. Until I could accept my alcoholism, I could not stay sober, unless I accept life completely on life's terms. I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and in my attitudes. Come on. Let me hear amen. Okay. But for real, I've got it marked. I've got it highlighted. 417 in the big book is just a number that we all memorize because it's something that we all go back to on a daily basis when we're walking through this. And there are times that I'm completely upset and I'm like, this just cannot be this way, and something has to change. And I have to go back and I have to read that word for word. And then I have to tell myself, if I can't change it, then I have to accept it. And it's as simple as that. I may not like it. I may not agree with it. But it's not about that. I can't do anything about it. So at some point, I have to get to an acceptance that that is the way it's supposed to be, and God does not make mistakes. So whatever plays out from here, I guess I'm in it to tell a story about it. So, all right. Honestly, I hope this helps somebody. I'm so excited to be doing these podcasts. I know it's late and I yawned in this video, and like I said, this is just real, raw, and honest. So it is what it is. Right now, I'm not polished, and I don't know if I ever plan to be. So you either like me or you don't. I hope that you find some help with the words that I'm saying. I hope that it can help. That is ultimately my goal, and the only goal that I have. I am not gloating about myself. I am not pretending I'm better than anybody else, because I am not. I am just the same as anybody else with an addiction. Even the ones that are on the streets and dealing with that, I am the very same as they are. And if you're dealing with addiction, so are you. And this, I just hope that you can come and find some healing and answers, maybe, and just maybe get yourself some help. Oh, there's Bella. That's her chair. We keep that chair just for her. That is her chair, and she sleeps there every night, all day long. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody, and please, if I say something that offends you, send me a question. Maybe I have it wrong, and I do not have a problem with seeing something from your point of view. So don't just write me off. Don't just hate me, because I promise you, my opinions, my experience, everything that comes out of my mouth is coming from a good place. It is not coming from judgment. It is not coming from superiority. It's not coming from any place like that. It's coming from a good place. So if I've said something that you don't like, or that you are confused about, or that you might not agree with, please ask me a question, and I would love to answer that. Please don't attack me, because I'm not going to engage in that. So I'm just telling you right now, I just will not. Don't be hateful. I don't need that in my life, and I won't give it space or time. But I do thank you, and I think this is the end of episode 2. This is Grace and Grit with Amanda Carpenter, where the stories are real, the healing is messy, and God is with us every step of the way. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you in the 3rd episode. Have a great night or day.